All right. Let's dive into this sunrise alarm clock. So
Yeah.
people are trading in like that harsh beep beep beep
Please.
for like this gentle glow, this fake sunrise, and it's supposed to be this idyllic way to wake up, right?
Right.
But, like, does it actually work, or is it just one of those like marketing things?
Right. Yeah, that's a really good question because I think what's really interesting about sunrise alarm clocks is that there's actually a surprising amount of science
Oh, okay.
behind them.
Yeah.
It's not just an aesthetic thing. It's very biological.
Okay, so walk me through it. So how does this fake sunrise,
Yeah.
like what's actually going on in our brains and our bodies?
Yeah. So it all comes down to our circadian rhythm.
Okay.
So that's essentially our body's internal clock. And light, specifically blue light, plays a key role in regulating that clock. And so, for millennia, humans, right, we've risen with the sun and rested when it sets.
Right.
So our bodies are really hardwired to respond to those natural light cues.
So that's like the whole thing about like, seasonal affective disorder.
Exactly.
And like you need the light. And
Yeah.
that's why people get that kind of like winter blues.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, that's exactly right. Seasonal affective disorder, or SD, it's often linked to, reduced sunlight exposure we get in those winter months. And so light therapy, which uses blow light, can be really effective in treating that. And so sunrise alarm clocks kind of like work on a similar principle.
Oh, that's interesting. So it's not just like some like new agey kind of thing. There's like actual science backing this up.
Yes.
And I know like, the New York Times, they do those annual tests
They do, yeah.
on like, all these different light therapy.
Light therapy alarms, yeah,
Yeah.
they do, yeah. And that's a great resource.
Yeah.
Because they found what's really interesting is that how effective these sunrise alarm clocks are actually depends on how strong that light is.
Okay.
So some of them are really powerful, like we're talking like as bright as the actual sun.
Wow, that's intense. So brighter isn't always better though, right?
Right. You're totally right. It really is about finding what works for you. Some people
Yeah.
just need that gradual sunrise. Some people, need that really bright wake-up call. It depends on your personal preference, too.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Now, I've also seen these alarm clocks. They have like the color therapy options.
Right.
Like, is that legit or is that like,
Right. Yeah, I know. That's a great question. I think because certain colors, can evoke certain feelings, right?
Right. Yeah.
And you think about like calming blues or like, energizing yellows.
Yeah.
But the research on whether a specific color can actually directly influence your sleep is still pretty limited.
So buyer beware on that one.
Yeah, for sure.
Look beyond like, all the bells and whistles and like really see what's going on.
Yeah.
So someone's listening to this and they're like, okay, you know what? I want to try this whole sunrise alarm clock thing. What advice would you give them?
I think first and foremost, know thyself. Are you a night owl? Are you an early bird? Because, that can affect how effective this is going to be. Second, I would say experiment. The light intensity, the wake-up duration, these are all things you can kind of like tweak and adjust to find what works best for you. And then lastly, I would just say, manage your expectations. This isn't a magic bullet for amazing sleep. This is a tool in your sleep hygiene arsenal.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
Sleep hygiene arsenal. That sounds very official.
I know, right?
So we talked a lot about like, how light affects our sleep.
Right.
But I want you to think about, light throughout the day.
Yeah.
So think about your morning routine.
Yeah.
Where are you encountering that first like burst of bright light? Could you be like unintentionally messing with your circadian rhythm, like right off the bat? Something to think about? All right, that was a great deep dive. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for listening.
Thank you for having me.
We'll see you in the next one.